everyone, Ivy League Gaming here, and today we're playing Watcher of Realms. And today I'm joined by Hell Hades. Welcome, Hell Hades.
Thank you so much for having me on. Looking forward to it.
So I've known for a bit that he's been debating about joining Watcher, playing it regularly, creating content, all the fun stuff. And he told me not too long ago, all right, I'm doing the thing. So here we are. So we're really
Yeah,
happy to have you
here we go.
joining, of course, number one. Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It's so nice to have a fresh game to play from the start that's kind of just more about me playing a game to enjoy. Obviously, I'm going to do content as well, but it's just kind of I've played these other games for a long time. It's a good time to kind of jump in. So yes, it'll be cool.
I think the good thing is a lot of the Watcher community is from the raid communities, so I'm sure most people already know you. And there's also the vibe of, I don't know, it seems like a much more welcoming community than a lot of the other games I've experienced. Like, I don't see the hate of like calling people noobs and people telling people they're
Right.
doing things wrong. Like, I don't see the negativity as much in this game. Just like every game, of course, any gacha, there's always going to be people complaining, oh, the rates suck, this game's terrible, it's pay to win, they're screwing, like, everyone's going to always complain. But besides the obvious gacha negativity, I think it's surprisingly a really positive community. Have you noticed that yet at all? Have you kind of delve into
Well,
it?
I guess one of the things that actually pulled me into to kind of pushing forward and doing a channel was that I put out a promotional video, I don't know, maybe like 2 or 3 months ago. It was a while ago. And since then, more so than any other game that I've done that for, people have been saying, "This is a really cool game. Are you gonna do more content? Are you still playing Watchers?" And so that's where I've kind of been watching it from the side. I've been super busy with some other stuff, which is why I didn't do a channel before, but I've just been kinda like watching that and seeing it trickle through my normal Discord. And yeah, I'm kind of getting that vibe of people genuinely really loving this game. They feel it fresh. They feel it something that's a bit different, but still has got great visuals and the type of things they like from Raid. So yeah, I do kind of see that. I do see that kind of like positivity so far. I will say I'm not in like the main watchers Discord yet, which I'll do soon.
Mhm.
But yeah, definitely in my Discord, I'm feeling that.
Yeah, I never pay attention to like the official discords normally. It's always like too busy, you know.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I'm the same. I started Watcher. My very first video was a sponsorship. And yeah, the
Mhm.
comments were great. Everyone was loving it. I agree. I think that was the instant replies were all very positive about people just thinking the game was refreshing, or yeah, it's kind of like a tower defense version of Raid,
Yeah.
a lot of people say. So you like tower defense, right? That's been a style you've played before. What else have you played?
Yeah, yeah. So Kingdom Rush was probably my first big tower defense game that I played maybe, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, whatever. But I really enjoyed it. It was like a downloadable game on the iPad that I could play without being online. And I needed it. I needed some stuff like that because I used to travel a lot for work. So Kingdom Rush was kind of like my one. And then more recently, I guess my son got me into Bloons Tower Defense. I don't know if you've heard of that, but
Mm-mm.
it's really, really addictive. It feels like it shouldn't be, but it's really addictive. And anyway, they've been like my main games that I played in this genre before. But when I first played this for the promotion, back a few months, I did find it really refreshing as a different type of game, which had, like you say, similarities to Raid in terms of visual and that kind of like fantasy style genre, which I love. But yeah, as a tower defense kind of setup, it is different from a lot of tower defense games that I've played, though.
Okay, I
So
kind of thought
uh,
so because people seem to react differently to it.
yeah, like normally what you do is you put a tower down and you're upgrading that tower and it kind of grows in strength throughout I guess, throughout that map. And, in this game, so you get a certain amount of cost that you're able to spend to put down your units. I
Hmm.
thought when I first played it, you were going to be able to, spend some of the cost to upgrade that unit. So actually they gain power that way. But they've done it slightly
Interesting.
differently here that you do kind of all of the upgrading outside of the map. And then within the game, it's just a kind of like straight cost to put down your units.
Yeah, maybe because that whole character building being very similar to Raid and those kind of games just makes it feel a little more comfortable to people because it's just a matter of learning the placement strategies and the timings. And
Yeah.
it's a little maybe less complicated than some tower defenses then as far as that goes, or is it still pretty intensive?
I, well, I think it can be, but I also think the more I'm seeing like end game stuff and the more I'm seeing kind of like the game through, there's actually quite a lot of strategy in this game, like in terms of
Yeah, it's
positioning,
hard.
in terms of
It's
the
really
units you bring in. Yeah, it's I think it's great for someone that can just pick up the game today and run with the game. But also what I like, and this is one of the reasons why I'm starting a channel, there's also that kind of like next level depth where you do need to understand the mechanics. You do need to understand the right sort of units to bring in to be able to beat a level or beat a challenge. And for me, that's why I think it's got real long term possibilities as a game.
Yeah, I agree. At first, I was intimidated by it, and hearing the word tower defense scared me away at first. I didn't think I'd
I did
like
it.
it. But the good thing is, once I kind of said that, everyone seems to have the same response of, I don't like tower defense, but I like this game. That seems to
Right.
be a common comment to people. And I was very intimidated because it is hard, but honestly, I kind of like the challenge. It surprised me. I didn't think I
Yeah.
would. I didn't think I would, but I love the challenge. I've been stuck at the same boards for I can't do any of the Gear Raid 19 still, and my account is stacked. I should be able
Right.
to, but I haven't farmed gear enough, honestly. I just don't have this. The rolls are terrible. It is unfortunately a lot like Raid with just trying to get good gear rolls, but I think it's maybe a little bit harder even, honestly.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's just comes down to gear at the end of the day, and then yeah, learning your placements. But it's definitely not the kind of game where you can just throw a team in there, hit auto, and walk away. It's very
No.
hands on for progression, which yeah, I think
Well,
it's fun.
that's something I was going to say because and I'm still I'm a busy guy. I do a whole bunch of other stuff as well. So what I tend to do is I'm focusing time on right. I need to think and actually beat the level. You have to go in there and beat the level. You have to be active with when your ultimates are going to drop for progression. And then obviously once you've got to a point where you can beat the level, then at least you can go back and do kind of auto
I know,
farm
yeah, like you
if you
could
don't have
farm the.
the time. Yeah. So I think they've got quite a nice blend actually of kind of like
Mhm.
time. You need to commit time. You need to play the game. You can't just auto everything from the start. Otherwise, really, you won't probably progress that far. So it's quite a nice kind of balance there of when you don't have time to do that, at least you can go back and just kind of farm some gear or some energy or some experience, sorry, or promotion stuff, whatever you need.
Yeah, it's a lot about like gaining the knowledge of how to be or how to I don't know synergize your team or how to place or how to time things. You can get a lot further than people think. Like, people think, oh, you just need legendaries for everything, but you don't. It's more just a matter of learning than anything
Yeah,
else.
yeah, and I feel like positioning healers is so critical or certainly in the early game is what I'm finding is if you don't understand the kind of like almost like the matrix that they cover, then you're probably going to start losing levels quite quickly because you're just not healing everyone up.
Yeah, I always use two healers for progressing because I feel like you kind of can't
Oh,
really cover everybody with one. So
yeah,
I'm very on to like always using two healers. Even in some of the stages, the Gear Raid 3 or sorry, Gear Raid 2 is all about survivability, and using three healers there actually can really come in handy. It's hard. You can take some hard
yeah.
hits, and you just need that survivability. But uh, how did you find it like initially overall? Like did you think the difficulty curve feels okay or the learning curve like feel like you're progressing at an okay rate or do you like what
I
do you think of
think
the learning curve?
yeah, I mean, I think they try not to throw too much stuff at you, but you still actually get quite a lot of stuff thrown at you. But that's similar really with any of these type of games where this
Yeah.
kind of raid style. It's very difficult to manage that because you do want to give players something new to do, but also it feels like very quickly it's like right, I've got this tide which is totally different to my kind of like campaign progression. Then I've got the guild boss, and they're all a similar. Well, the tide's different, but they're all a kind of like similar type of feel to the game. But I guess they're just trying to teach you different mechanics within the game. They're trying to teach you different styles of running teams, um, and it's a little bit overwhelming. You definitely benefit from content creators that know the game, like anything, I guess. But um, yeah, I don't think it's too bad. There's a lot on the UI. Like if I think of the home screen, and probably once you've played it for a while, you don't feel this, but I just feel like there's a lot of things that I could click. And
Yeah.
if I'm just looking for something simple, for me is still, a couple of weeks in, I'm still a kind of a little bit lost as to where I'm clicking. But I guess you kind of get that over time.
Might be the kind of thing too where once you get more comfortable, you start fresh with a new account and kind of blast it at that point. That might be
Yeah,
something to
yeah,
consider too, because the early first couple weeks, you can really push pretty hard or fast and get lucky with tournaments like the Oracle trials and have easier placements and get more rewards because you have lower tournament groups if you're the one actually doing the work. Kind of like I think Raid kind
right.
of felt like that too.
Yeah, yeah. No, that makes some sense. I was, I guess, also because I'm in this fairly unique place where I'm not just running an account. I'm thinking, oh, okay, this could be quite an interesting newbie video. So I'm kind of like
Yeah.
holding some stuff back for a video, and then
You're probably holding too
end up
much back
missing.
though. You're
Yeah,
slowing
probably
your
am.
progress.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I'm like, oh, actually, I shouldn't be doing that. I should just be like flying through the game and understanding it better. So yeah, there's definitely some of that.
Yeah. So what do you, all right, you come from Raid, you come from all these games. What do you think this game is missing? Like, what do you wish you could take from Raid or maybe another game? Like, what are some of the features you'd like to see change?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. Um, I mean, I feel like I'm missing like in Raid they've got like the masteries where you've got a bunch of different selections you can make for one character,
Mm-hmm.
and it really feels like that character plays in a different way, a different style.
That's true.
So I don't think, and I don't think that's in this sort of game. But yeah, what I think that's a really good point about Raid. Like Raid, you could put on completely different gear set with a different set of masteries, and then it feels like you're playing with a different champion, different character. I'm not sure that this is going to offer that. It offers a
Yeah,
lot of
not
other
as
things. So
much. Yeah,
yeah,
because there's the variety of gear sets, but they're pretty much all going to rely around damage. Period. Just different ones to do different yeah, but the artifacts do give a little bit of help sometimes. Like there's one that allows you to slow this one makes you have this a slow skill that you wouldn't normally have,
okay,
for example. So there's a little bit of stuff like that kind of give you extra utility, or sometimes someone's awakenings might add a whole nother thing that they didn't have at all before. Like I guess,
sure.
yeah, the example with slow,
I
this
do like the
guy,
awakening system. This is
yeah,
nice,
like he
actually.
can
Yeah,
he now slows when you get awakened 3, where he didn't do that before. That skill didn't do that before. But it's not customizable. Everyone that's playing would have the same things. So I guess in the end, it does lack the complexity of Raid with the gearing. At first I was like, oh, it's kind of the same, but yeah, you're right. It is lacking a little bit more. Of course you
yeah,
could
and
build people differently, but
yeah, and I guess what they're trying to do is they're adding complexity in other ways, aren't they? Because I like depth in a game, not necessarily complex, but depth where you have to kind of think your way through builds or think your way through teams, think your way through what you're going to do in certain content. This is definitely doing it for me in terms of the type of team makeup and where you position people. So I think that's where their depth is coming
mhm.
from. With Raid, I think they do a bit more in terms of depth of building out an actual hero or character.
There's one thing you might not have noticed as much because you're just getting into it, but the gear rolling needs to change. God damn. They have the same
Yeah, I
thing
have
with
already
Raid
noticed
with
it.
failure. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
okay, let's auto enhance. It fails. Like, you're like, well, now
yeah.
it's not because it's low, but fail. And then you have to wait and sit here for the whole thing. But luckily, that
Yeah.
is on their list of like adding a quicker gear roll up feature. I'm like, they have to.
Oh,
That's been my
nice.
biggest complaint as someone who has a test server and has a full account ready to go crazy with. I can't play it because I don't have gear rolled up because it takes literally hours to roll gear.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
so frustrating, but
I remember when I was first playing Raid, not first playing it, when I was first doing content for Raid, and I used to do account takeover type of stuff, and I basically took over someone's account, and I used to have to roll up a lot of gear for them to beat stuff. And honestly, it was the most painful part of that work. Is I would spend maybe 5 hours on a
yeah,
takeover, and probably 2 hours was just rolling gear. It was literally
that's
as bad as
true.
that. So yeah, I'm pleased that they're listening to that because that would be. I already spotted it. Like I'm only a couple of weeks in, and they're rolling stuff up to like level 8 or level 12, and I'd already spotted it, and I was thinking, oh no, here we go again.
Yeah, this game
Yeah.
feels like the developers. I mean, I didn't expect it at first because I found out how big Moonton really is, and I was like, they're
Mm.
not gonna care what we say. They're not gonna listen to us. But they do, like, they have these developer Q&As that they always reply to. Like, the in-game suggestions they genuinely look at and they genuinely reply to every single week or
Cool.
so. There's a whole list of Q&As they put out, and you can tell they really are listening to the feedback. And for once, you know, like Raid gives you a test server, but really it's an
Yeah.
advertising server. It's not a test server.
Yes.
But this genuinely is, like, if we have issues, we have questions, they want to know. They're very adamant about wanting to know. And I feel like yeah. And like they put out the Forerunner server, people like to call it a test server, but it's not. That was just the pre-launch server. And they release
Okay.
stuff early on the Forerunner server. And they do that on purpose to test, see how it feels with real players playing before they put it on the global server. Like, they released a guild
Okay.
versus guild battle. And with the guild versus guild battle, they've been pumping out constant surveys asking for people's feedback. And every single week for the Forerunner server patch notes, I'm seeing changes based on that feedback. Like, they really are, like, not just like, we made this thing, here it is, this is what it's going to be. Nothing with
Yeah.
their content has been that way. They're constantly changing it based on feedback. So that's really refreshing, especially coming from the games we've played.
Yeah, definitely. And I think both of us have played a lot of games in this type of genre. Well, not necessarily like tower defense, but you know,
Yeah.
in terms of hero collectors. And I think they've done an awful lot right. And they're probably as well the only game, I think really the only game that is competing on visual
Oh, it's
compared
beautiful.
to
Yeah.
Raid. Like, I love the visuals. I love the kind of like cut scenes on some of the legendary heroes
Yeah,
that
they're
they've got.
amazing.
And obviously, you probably only watch it once, but still, that's a high quality impact, even if you're only going to watch it once for these different heroes. And I just think they've done a lot of things really nicely, really clean in terms of visual, which helps a lot.
Do you have a favorite character or someone you really hope you pull? Have you got your eyes on anybody yet?
Probably not. I'm probably not knowledgeable enough, honestly. I really like visually, I really like the dude that looks like he's from um, Pirates of the Caribbean. It's like the ghostly
Yeah, Captain
pirate
Rev. He
dude.
was a limited time hero only. You could
Oh, was
only
he?
get him during a
Right.
special event. And it was a guaranteed summon event, though. So, like, if you had the
Yeah.
summons or saved the summons, it was a guarantee at least.
Yeah. I mean, who are the kind of like, if you could pull two legendaries that you think would massively, snowball an account, who's the two?
This
This is
lovely
one of them,
lady
isn't it?
on the screen is one of them. Yeah, she's arguably the best character in the game. She's an AoE marksman, has great burst damage, and she can be used everywhere. She just absolutely smacks. I'm having so much fun with her. I
Nice.
think for me, the other one besides Hatsa that would be a top wish that I don't have that's very universal is arrogance. When I made my video for him, I kind of called him the jack of all trades, you know, like he's just
Yeah.
amazing at everything. He's a melee damage dealer, but he has a ranged attack as well, like with his spears and this weird bow thing. Um, and he hits airborne units as well. And as a
Oh,
fighter, you
nice.
know,
Yeah.
only certain fighters can hit airborne units. He's got a good range. You can see he actually has a little bit of not just one square. So my favorite thing with the
Yeah.
fighters that have range, like Ain, isn't great, the character we get on day 7, but I'll take him to level 30, 40 maybe, and you can put a defender in front of him, and then he stretches to hit in front of that defender, helping to pump out
Very
more
cool.
damage. So like having fighters that have a decent range is really nice. But yeah, he's literally good at everything. He brings damage over time. He's great in Guild Boss. He's good in any dungeon or any arena. Like there's not a place you can't use this guy. So he's kind
Yeah.
of been a top wish list for a while. Just besides getting like lords to progress my account or whatever. But I love him.
Yeah, I think the Lord system's quite cool as well. You know, as like a per faction or per area. They call it factions here. Anyway, per
Yeah.
kind of like group.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, per faction. There's kind of like almost like must keep rares, epics because
Mhm.
you absolutely want a Lord for those kind of different factions. It's cool.
Yeah, for sure. Alrighty, so I guess I want to say this video is going on your brand new channel, right? Oh, well, not this
Yeah.
video. Our collab,
Well
our
done.
other collab. We did a collab on his channel as well, guys. That's what I mean to say. We did a collab on his channel too, and that's going to be on your brand new channel for Watcher of Realms. Are you going to pump out daily content there, or how are you going to be rolling that out?
Yeah, so I'm thinking minimum 3 videos a week. Like I want to be
Okay,
realistic
that's
because
fair.
I'd love to do
Yeah,
daily, but I'm still doing daily on my other channel and also doing a lot of stuff with Fateless. So I want to be like realistic around what I can do. But I'm thinking 3 videos a week, and I might ramp that up once I'm more knowledgeable in the game and videos come a bit easier. But for now, I'm still learning and I'm trying to get into the mix
that's
of it.
fair.
So yeah, but no, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to playing a new game. I'm looking forward to kind of like grouping with some of the content creators already out there, like yourself and my bucket, and I know Ash is coming, and there's some of the old school raid players that are playing and doing content as well, which is fun. So yeah, it's gonna be good.
I said you have to collab with Mabucket. He lives in the same town as you.
Does he actually?
Yes,
I did
literally.
not know that. Okay.
So you can have physical in IRL collabs.
Yeah. We're like, come around, let's do a
Come
collab.
over.
Brilliant.
But yeah, he's definitely one of the go-tos for the end game experience side of things because he's played so long. So I always give him lots of love, and I use his tier list as a reference for everything because it's wonderful.
Nice.
But all right, any final thoughts? What do you think? How are you ready to start the journey?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm willing, and I'm excited. Actually, I just feel like I can't wait to get into some of the kind of later game content and really push it. So yeah, can't wait. Can't wait.
Awesome. Well, we're really happy to have you joining the community. Thanks for also coming on my channel too. And if you guys haven't already, make sure you go watch our collab on his channel, and obviously go subscribe to his new channel. Give it some love. He's got to grow that too. They all start from nothing. Got to get that stuff monetized real quick. You know how that goes.
Thank you. Thank you.
But all right, everyone. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.